Good afternoon and welcome to Money Control. I'm Karunya Rao. With me is Manisha Gupta, and we have an update for you in terms of commodities. Once again, we want to put the limelight, the sparkle, and everything else
Bling.
on precious metals, silver, and gold. So, the US GDP data came out last evening. Is that also adding strength?
It is. It absolutely is. Second straight quarter of contraction is something that the markets were not ready for. And when you go by the textbook, if you see 2 quarters of contraction and growth, that is recession. Though the markets are not calling it yet, and that was changed many times over. But then yet again, the interest rate hike has been as expected. The GDP numbers have not come in so strong. If you look at the consumer confidence numbers in US have been on the weaker side. The consumer spending has been the lowest in last 1.5 years. The business spending has continued to slow as well, and I could go on. All the data that has come in from US and China has been on the weaker side, and the immediate rate hike out of the way. Why wouldn't you want to buy? This has been clearly music to the gold bulls' ears with the fact that you have the dollar index trading at a 2-month lows as well. So everywhere that you look, you will want to buy gold. And actually, in last 3 trading sessions, we've seen $80 of a jump up in case of gold from the lows. So it's very, very strong going.
So, what are technically the next important levels to watch out for? 1740, is it where it's perched at?
It's trading at around those levels right now.
So, technically, which level will be important on the upside and on the downside to watch
So I
out?
think we're looking at 1780 right now, and if that clears, then the psychological level of 1800 as well. In the Indian markets in this year until now, we've seen a range of 47,000 on the lower side, and then of course 55,000 on the higher side as well. So we're trading at around those 51,500 kind of levels. And yes, if you bought below 50,000, as we were telling you to do,
You got lucky.
You did.
Thanks to her. But it doesn't happen very often. The equity markets, look at what's happening there. Last 2 days, Wall Street was on a tear. They seem to have already priced in the GDP data, the Fed rate hike of 75 basis points, and because there was no official calling out of a recession. US Fed chair has also said that this is not, he's ruled out that option, is perhaps why the markets are rejoicing so much. But you're telling us to look at all the other data, which is also valid. I'm not saying that, but both of them are rallying equally, in their own ways. What's happening, and how do we now assess what's happening, what's going to happen?
So what I am looking at right now is the dollar index, because when you're looking at all of these concerns in the international markets and whatever is happening, the one thing that seems to have peaked out is the dollar index. Look at rupee, the best one-day gain that we've seen in a long time. And ditto is the case with gold as well. IMF cutting your growth forecast for this year. So various places that you look, and then the additional factor is that the gold shorts were in billions of dollars and the highest since 2014. It has been since 2014 in this year now that you have seen such bearishness in case of gold. People were selling it, shorting it. So even as people are buying it now, but it majorly is about short covering that we've seen in gold, and that seems supportive. Take a look at silver for that matter. $2 of a jump up in silver, so from $18 to $20. But then, having said that, we had come off from $27 of a high to $18 of a low, and from there we are going back to 20 right now. So, well, yes, a lot of pending buying really seems to be coming.
A lot of oscillation is happening in these precious metals, which are typically more slow movers and steady movers. Gold, I just want to come back to it once again. If at this level where you're saying there's been an $80 bounce back for gold contracts, do you think there will be some profit taking as well?
Yeah, you would assume that. You will continue to see that at all time, because $80 of a jump up in 2-3 trading sessions is quite big. So from 1680 to 1760 of a high that we've seen right now. So that $80 jump has been too much too soon. But then the markets were waiting to squeeze out of the kind of shots that we were holding in. So yes, I think we will continue to see those supports at 1730. And upside, if 1780 breaks, then you have 1800 kind of levels as well. Will be very important to see on how US markets open after that GDP reaction yesterday. So ahead of the weekend, how do we look at the markets is going to be important. But then yes, if you are an investor, even these are good levels to buy for a position call. I'm assuming next week also could be on the positive side.
Oh, great. Then perhaps it is something that you want to keep on your watch list, whether you are or you're still not a trader or buyer or an investor in gold and silver, but definitely something that is hogging a fair amount of limelight. Perhaps once again we can circle back on what's happening in the precious metal space. But for now, that's all we have. So guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be back on Monday with a fresh commodities update.